الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Amen.
All right. We'll turn this down. So, all right. Here we go. We're going to start off the day with something on the cell phone.
Great song. If you're a constant checker, you're not alone. A recent survey found most Americans are attached to their gadgets, and for many, it is stressing them out. Psychiatrist Dan Pearson from Methodist Health is here with some help for the smartphone obsessed. Good morning. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. Thank you.
Okay, let's start with these stats because these surprised me that you said. So the American Psychological Association says 8 in 10 Americans are glued to their devices. A whopping 86% say they constantly or often check emails, text, and social media. I have to admit, I think I'm one of them. But I feel disconnected. I feel like, oh, maybe something happened while I was doing something else. That's probably what you hear a lot, huh?
Yes.
Yes, a lot. Way too often, huh?
Well, just look at the people walking down the sidewalks. They're not looking where they're going. They're bumping into things. They're watching their telephone.
Yeah, I read this post on Pinterest I thought was interesting. It said your phone has already replaced your camera. It's replaced your calendar. It's replaced your alarm clock. Don't let it replace your family. A good reminder for all of us, I
That's
think.
exactly true. So many people, you hear the argument that...
Well, you know it's true.
That's true.
You have a family get together,
Yeah.
and people are sitting all on their phones.
Everybody.
I had a family get together one day, and it was just that everybody's on the phone like zombies. Okay.
Especially teenagers are on their phone. Who are they talking to? What are they doing? Who knows? But we just have to start carving out real time for
Who are they talking to? But also, what are they watching? What are they watching? Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, and
Right.
and those get into the way of relationships. Sometimes it means setting boundaries for the kids, especially, probably for
Or
adults
for
as well.
ourselves.
For ourselves, and you know we all do it.
Right.
But there's so much that we are missing by spending time looking at that little screen as opposed to looking at each other in the face and talking to each other.
Right, and this really could stress someone out. I think, when you're looking at social media, when you're looking at the internet, a lot of times it's tragedy, stories of tragedy, there's drama. I mean, there's a lot that comes with body image is another one, I think. So that's what you're talking about when you say it's stressing people out?
Well, you have to. I think you have to separate the news and then the social media, where people
Right.
are interacting through the electronic medium, but really not with each other. You look at Facebook, you look at some of these other social media, and how much of that is actually true of what people are putting on there about themselves or about other things, and that's where you start getting into this,
Because on Facebook, people can manipulate their photos,
Right. Exactly.
right?
Yes.
So they go in and they change stuff, take pimples off, whatever. Right. Right. So they're giving you an illusion. They can give you an illusion of what they look like.
you shouldn't compare yourself to an imaginary object, which is what
It's
that
hard
is.
not to, though, right?
Oh, it is, especially teens who have a real. Their task at that time in life is developing an image of themselves
Right.
with relationships to other people. And I think these gadgets really get in the way of that normal development.
Right.
So what are people going to be in 20 years? I can't tell you.
Think about what you said. Sound like this is, how are you? So what are we going to be in 20 years? The thing is that we're already like cyborgs. Because we're walking around with this stuff all the time. All the time. Because we are addicted to it. Okay?
than 20 years ago.
Yeah, you mentioned limiting time. So that's one thing parents can do for kids and do for themselves. Is there anything else that you can do? I guess talk with your kids about what they're seeing and make them realize that what you're seeing might not be true, might not be real.
Even what your friends are saying about themselves may not be really accurate or real either. And so don't compare. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Setting boundaries is one of the major things for parents.
Yeah.
And that's always the major task in parenthood, is setting boundaries for their children that are appropriate for their level of development.
Makes sense.
And set aside.
But see, with a lot of parents, the phones and the internet, the computer and all that stuff, it's being used. Right, exactly. To get your child out of your hair.
That's what that's the new baby.
Yeah, play with that.
That's the new baby says.
Yeah. So it's the new babysitters, but it's also the new teachers. Because they are getting their ideas and stuff from this media, right? In this program.
When you don't do telephones, it might be during dinner, it might be during family discussions. Other times when using the telephone like that for the kids is just plain off limits. To a degree also for the parents and the adults.
Right, you should be a role model too, right?
We have to set that model. That's exactly right.
Thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate it.
All right, but now, here it is talking about.
Today's fast-paced.
They're talking about a new possible disorder called smartphone separation anxiety.
Wow.
Okay. Oh yeah. The person need their phone up. So the thing is that you got to remember, it's all a tracking device. They know your basically your patterns better than you.
That's right.
They know your patterns better than you, right? But now watch. Here we go. Watch what they say about this separation anxiety.
Work, if I had a job.
It's non-stop. Are cell phones at the center of it all?
Bathroom.
But is that constant need to be connected, texting, snapping a photo, or making a call,
It's like a second girlfriend.
I really can't live without my phone.
taking a serious toll on our health?
There's definitely like that panic, like, oh my God, where's my phone at?
Researchers say yes, they've dubbed it smartphone separation anxiety. Dr. Michelle Clark is a psychologist at Christopher Newport University.
It sounds a little more like an obsessive or compulsion, really, a compulsive behavior than it does true separation anxiety.
Researchers say not being able to answer your phone hits your concentration the hardest. That means simple tasks are suffering. But most concerning, they also found a spike in blood pressure, heart rate, and anxiety.
The cell phone represents an extension of yourself. So if
They have given you a device that has become an extension of you. How does that? I mean, that's crazy. That's insane.
It is.
And you heard the one girl, oh, I can't live without my phone. Okay? What did we do back in the day? We didn't have them. But see, with our children, they didn't grow up in that era.
Right.
So they don't know. They've grown up on this stuff.
Right.
So this is something that's natural for them.
saying if you don't have it on you.
When I wake up, when I go to sleep, when I eat, when I breathe, when I talk.
Technology is always on the move.
We, as people, with our coping skills, didn't evolve at the same rate as the technology, which was just much, much quicker.
Because of that, Clark says we're suffering as a society.
Losing other skills along the way, like losing the ability to feel comfortable by themselves or interacting for, even a short period of time with another person without having access to their phones.
High blood pressure and anxiety are a concerning reality to some.
Smartphone separation anxiety is real.
But not diagnosable just yet. What is just
And think about it, it's just like the thing with the dog, Pavlov, and the dog, you start hearing the
Yeah.
and you're jumping up, oh, who called me? Who texted me? Right? But that's how it is.
action. Clark says the relationship between people and their phones is going in.
But see what it is, what it's doing
if
is fulfilling people's need for attention. Okay? A lot of kids, they don't get attention from their parents or whoever.
Yeah.
But that phone, people liking their photos or texting them, so it fulfills that void, and that's why they become addicted to it, and that's why they're calling it digital heroin. Right?
Whoa.
It all makes sense.
Yeah.
On you becomes something that creates that high, intense level of dysfunction for people. If that becomes something that people are showing up to therapist's office saying that they are suffering from, and that it's getting in the way of them doing their day-to-day, life, then it will become something that potentially could be an actual diagnosis.
Now, watch this. I want you to see this. Now, we talked about when people go to vote and, do they really know the candidates and know what the candidates stand for and all this stuff? No. People usually go in, they say, oh, I'm a Democrat. Click, 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 click. Click all the Democrats. Don't know what these people are dealing with. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But now, this is what happened to this lady. Watch this.
So are you saying that he has a same-sex partner?
Now, this new mayor that just came out of nowhere, right? A voter in Iowa claims that she did not know that former Mayor Pete Buttigieg, they have a problem with his name, is gay when she supported him. So she didn't know, because she didn't do her research. All right? So now she wants to take her vote back.
Oh, he's married to him, yes. Then I don't want anybody like that in my house. So can I have my card back? I don't know. You signed it. We could go ask. I never knew that. Well, so the whole point of it is, he's a human being, right? Just like human beings, and shouldn't really matter.
Buttigieg is gay.
Well, he better realize he does, and he says that God doesn't choose a political party. Because why does it say in the Bible that a man should marry a woman then? Well, I totally respect your viewpoint on this. I so totally do. But I think that we were not around. How come this has never been brought out before? It's common knowledge.
Now, she said it was common knowledge. I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
You did? You didn't know? I didn't know. I didn't even hear about it.
It's online.
Oh, it's online.
Talking about it. It's on MSNBC and CNN. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
We can talk to someone if you need to talk to them about this. I don't know the rules on this or not, but I guess what I would like you to just dig deep inside and think, like, should it matter if it's a woman or if it's a man or if they're heterosexual or homosexual if you believe in what they say? That's my question.
It all just went right down the toilet. It's weird.
You're right. She said, "Oh, it went down the toilet when I found that out."
Said all that good stuff that you was talking about.
Yeah, it's gone now. Yeah.
Because it wasn't against her religious principles.
Right.
So why should she vote for it if it goes against her? Right.
I believe in what her religious
right.
she's saying.
And see, the thing is that they, no matter who you vote for, you're going to vote for their agenda, for the system's agenda. Because both sides are the same, they're working together. Democrat and Republicans, they work together. And they are going to get their agenda either way. It's an illusion that you have a choice. You don't have no choice. It's funny because George Carlin said, oh yeah, you get 36 different flavors of ice cream at Baskin Robbins, but you only got 2 political choices to pick from. Right.
You have a total right to your opinion, and I am not trying to tell you to think otherwise, but we'll ask what they want us to do. But I just ask you to look inside your heart, because you sound like a Christian woman to me, and I'm a Christian woman, and my God wants me to love everyone. I do, yeah.
So you must not believe it then if you think it's okay for somebody to be married to a same-sex person?
No, I think we're just interpreting it different, and that's okay because everybody gets to have their own beliefs.
Right.
But what I teach my son is that love is love, and we're all human beings.
Remember that statement.
Okay.
Remember the statement. Love is love. All right.
There she
We're gonna
go.
make some connections with this. All right. Love is love, and okay. But here we go. Let's move on to this next one. Now, this is his reaction to this woman choosing right.
This for you. And when she found out that you were gay, she changed her mind. How real is that? How big of an issue is that for you?
It will happen. And the most extraordinary thing, I just saw that video today actually.
How'd you feel?
Well, first of all, I felt proud of our organizer, volunteer, the campaign representative who, on my behalf, was speaking to her. And speaking to her with respect, living out the values that this campaign has been asking our volunteers and organizers to live by the whole time. And trying to reach out in the name of compassion to that woman's heart. I'm sad to see that it doesn't seem that she reached her. But also think that that is part of what change looks like. Deep, real change.
So what you're saying is a battle of the old ways and the new ways. So now they do little stories like this to make the millennials feel that the older generation is intolerant. Right? Now watch it, because this is how it's going to get deep in a second. All right?
Eye to eye and engaging them with compassion. And if someone like me in Indiana, while Mike Pence was governor, could come out and get reelected with 80% of the vote, then anywhere in America, I believe people can move past old prejudices, especially when the election at the end of the day is not about me or about this president. It's about the voters' questions of how their lives will be shaped by the choice they're about to make.
It's a lot of stuff going on here. Remember, another name for television show is television what? Programming. So we're looking at a system of programming, all right? And they play games, they play these mental games, okay? But now, watch this. This is one of the candidates. This is Bloomberg, all right? Look at what they found, a tape of him saying. Watch this.
95% of murderers and murder victims fit one MO. You can just take the description, Xerox it, and pass it out all the time. They are male, minorities, 15 to 21. That's true in New York, it's true in virtually every city. And that's where the real crime is. You've got to get the guns out of the hands of the people that get killed. So you've got to, if you want to spend the money, a lot of cops in the street, put those cops where the crime is, which means in minority neighborhoods.
Minority neighborhood. That is so blatant. But the thing is that when he said there was.
Go ahead.
No, when he said the part about the people who were doing the murder, you just give them a Xerox copy of a black boy between 16 and so. Because my son, one day he was coming in the house and a cop car came down the street and he said, "Come here, you look like the person." Yes. So they just taking one description and using it with everybody.
Right.
But he's the one that wanted to stop and frisk, right?
Yes.
Oh, he did the stop and frisk.
Yeah, he did.
Put more. So he passed that law. He passed that law before. Before he was mayor or while he was. But he said he did it because it was New York.
And remember, go ahead, sister.
This is like a two-way street. You know what I'm saying? You know how we want to. You know how we say, all right, Black Lives Matter. Oh, I can't tell. Not the way we kill them. We kill them. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So it's like we're sending this and we're saying these things, but the message that's being received from it, that's why they talk the way they talk, because they only looking at what they see. He's only going by what he see, which is not really statistically. We see it too on TV, but we don't see it as deep as they do. We're not in the police stations and stuff like that. So they get in depth with it. We just see like on TV when it happens, but we know, and we live in the communities, we know what's going on, right? But like I said, we don't know how much in a day, how many murders have taken place, and blah, blah, blah. So they got a bigger statistic than we do. But we are the ones that are doing this to each other.
But doesn't it become a self-fulfilling prophecy when they set up the environments to destroy, to cause this?
That's what I was
Think about
thinking,
what we said last time when we talked about the record companies that were investing in private prisons, right? And they were pushing the criminal behavior, the criminal elements in the music so that they can get them locked up, so they can fill their prisons and make that money.
True.
Okay.
Now, Dick Gregory said last night on an interview that Chinese people kill Chinese people, Italians kill Italians, whites kill whites. So what do you think blacks supposed to kill? So it's not a black on black crime. They're only doing what is in their environment.
Right.
Blacks on blacks.
But think about it. It's all about control, perception. Okay? So if I control your perception, I got you. Okay? Because I control the way you think, I control how you view things. I control what you believe. And television is the weapon of choice. They use this television. There you go. What you wear. Your body image. Right?
True.
Everything.
True. So is it not true that we were taught this by Worthy Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with him, about subliminal seduction? That's what it is. And we were also taught that the TV was the idiot box, which is not, it is true, but it depends on what you watch on it. Because some things can be very educational as far as the History Channels, National Geographic. You can learn a lot of things about, different stuff, but depending upon what you watch.
Well, think about it. Because when I tell people in prior presentations, the logo for the Apple computer is the what?
For Apple computer?
The logo.
Oh, the logo, Apple.
And Apple, but what about the Apple?
That's supposed to represent E.
It's a bite out of it.
The bite, the bite out of the apple. Right? So then it goes, but it goes back to the story of Adam and Eve, right? And then, and talking about the tree of knowledge, right? Because with the computer, it's like the tree of knowledge. You can go on here and find almost anything you want, right?
You are going to find everything you want. Because it's an encyclopedia, a world book.
But now, this is the other thing. The first Apple computer, and what I tell people is that the people that designed this stuff were occultists. The first Apple computer, how much do you think it cost?
No.
$666.66. 666. Okay? So it's all connected. Okay? We have to start looking at things.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sis.
I'm going back to when you were here last and we talked about the music that was being sent to the prisons. The language that they use, that they send to the prison. And when I watched Gayle King interview and Snoop Dogg tuned in and said what he said, I was like, oh my God, listen to him. What are you doing to our kids?
Grown man.
Right. But see,
this was on TV, radio. You know what I mean? Look what he's doing to our kids.
But he threatened her too.
Right.
We coming to get you.
I said, what kind of mess?
He threatened her.
The language. I said, what kind of mess is that?
But I'm going to tell you this. See, profanity has become normalized. In the schools, when you walk through the schoolyard, you see little kids. I thought Little Richard Pryor was out there. I mean,
I can tell you, even in my family, people that I've known that never cursed, they curse now.
Yeah, because it's being. Remember.
Yes, they use the F word. Yes.
Remember.
And they never
People do what they see. Think about on television. That's all you're hearing. You have the profanity on all the shows.
All the shows.
Go ahead.
With that Frank's hot sauce commercial with the older lady on there, I'll put that ish on everything.
Oh.
That's somebody's grandma. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
She said sugar honey iced tea? It's the old.
Yeah.
She said, put that sugar on it. Is that the word she used? Yes.
Yeah, I mean they beat that on TV, but you know what she's saying. You know, yeah, and she's, you know, she looks like somebody's grandma from down south somewhere.
Right. So now, that's just like they had.
That's an old commercial too. That's old.
They had the grandmothers on the internet twerking in front of the kids. So it's like, wait a minute. If this is the example from the parents in the older generation, what the kid gonna do?
It must be okay.
Right. It must be okay. All right. I mean, if you would see, I'm gonna bring that video so you can see it, because it was ridiculous. Ridiculous. All right. But let's get back to see what he's saying, and because I got this next piece I want to show you.
Which means in the minority neighborhoods.
So the unintended consequences is people say, oh my God, you are arresting kids for marijuana, they're all minorities. Yes, that's true. Why? Because we put all the cops in the minority neighborhoods. Yes, that's true. Why do we do it? Because that's where all the crime is. And the way you get the guns out of the kids' hands is to throw them against the wall and frisk them. Because then they say, oh, I don't want to get caught, so they don't bring the gun. They still have a gun, but they leave it at home.
These people are something else. I'm telling you. They are receiving the whispers of Shaitan. Okay? But now, watch this, because
95%
I want you to see this.
What could this travesty be?
This was during the Trump thing with the trial and all this stuff. Right. But I want you to hear what this man says in defense of Trump. Watch this.
Future of our republic. Here to answer that question, former acting U.S. Attorney General Matt Whitaker. Matt, I've been thinking about this a lot lately.
Former acting Attorney General, all right? Listen to him.
Long after Trump is gone, whether he's reelected or serves 2 terms, what happens next? If this is what you can do to upend a presidency?
Well, I think you're going to see a lot of payback. You're going to see a future Republican House Speaker that's going to be able to declare a impeachment inquiry and then follow it up with exactly what's happening right now. Secret testimony, selective leaking to preferred outlets. And I think it's not good for the Republic, especially 13 months before we have another election. And it's from what I can tell and from my experience, really a lifetime in this game, both in the state of Iowa and in Washington, D.C. This is just not good for the Republic.
Well, and it's corrosive, and yet those who are perpetrating it cast themselves as the white knights in this. They're saving the Republic from the man whose policies they disagree with so vehemently, and whose tone and whose demeanor they have utter disdain for. I really go back to that. They never saw him as legitimate. The insurance policy of Peter Strzok failed. Mueller failed. And now they're on to the next thing.
Well, and he's remember these global elitists, these careerists have made promises to and have set in place a world establishment that operated a certain way. And President Trump has asked questions like, why do we do this way? Why don't people pay? Why doesn't Germany and France, why don't they pay 2% into NATO? And these kind of questions, which again has completely upset the apple cart, he is being punished for this. And again, I'm a former prosecutor, and what I know is this is a perfect time for a preliminary hearing, where you would say, show us your evidence. What evidence of a crime do you have? I mean, the Constitution, sort of abuse of power is not a crime.
Huh?
Do you hear what he said?